Good morning, dear friends. Welcome, or afternoon or evening, wherever it is, whenever it is at the time that you're watching this. I invite you to draw with me. We're going to spend 10 minutes sketching Ray of Raytrospectively, also of Little Wins Studio and Conscious Citizens. Ray is doing a lot of great stuff, a lot of educating with a focus on history, geopolitics, and activism. And I feel like there's a really great emphasis that Ray has on what we can do to come together and to affect a positive change. And it's really important and inspiring to have people who can answer some of those questions, because often just the question is like, there's so much going on, what can I even do? And Ray has a lot of ideas. So let's sketch together for 10 minutes. Hello, Anne-Marie. Anyone else who's here, please say hello in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, say hello in the comment section. And I'm going to have to keep this brief, but it's always brief because I have an appointment at past, a mentorship call, which I'm very excited about. They're always, it's a really great way to connect and work closely together. So let's sketch Ray. Here's my workspace. Let's do it. I have, yesterday was Tuesday, so every Tuesday we do a bunch of portrait sketching together on Zoom, which everyone with Zoom is welcome to join. We sketch each other live, and it was a super fun theme. We were just getting up close to the camera. You don't have to pose if you don't want to. You're welcome just to join and sketch along. But yeah, it was really great fun yesterday. So thank you to everyone who joined. Hi, Michelle. Good to have you here. There are 8 of you here. Who are the other 6? Say hello in the chat. I'd love to know who's here. Okay, 10 minutes with Ray. And here's a great quote that I got from one of Ray's videos. The best way to combat dehumanization is through human connection. And Ray has had so many great posts, so many great things to say. There was a really interesting one last week about art in response to the Super Bowl halftime show, which was quite exciting this time last week. There was a lot of talk about it, and how art can be used as a tool for liberation, and it can also be used to enforce the capitalist subservience machine. So I think that was a really interesting episode in pop culture awareness last week with the halftime show. And it's always interesting to think about these things, like what is it, what is achieved, what is left to be achieved, what are the ways in which what effect does it have? Like, there are so many different layers of art and creativity as entertainment and a consumable, hopefully inspiring thing. And it's really interesting to think about the possibilities and the way in which we see and consume art. And also a really cool one, which I just saw this morning that Ray shared, was a video, What Radicalized You? And showing, was it A Bug's Life or Ants? There were these clips from these great cartoons, which I also remember watching as a kid, which were really like revolutionary against the oppressors. And it's interesting that in so much entertainment that I remember, there's really a clear like anti-fascist sentiment shared. And it's interesting just thinking about growing up consuming these stories of liberation and solidarity and community, and how a lot of these ideas have kind of been modeled in pop culture and in art and creativity. And it's really interesting how they can, seed a certain way of seeing things and thinking, and compassion and awareness of what we can do together. So that was really interesting. Hi Maya, hi Eddie, Carola. I hope you're having a lovely day, Anne-Marie, so far, and everyone else. So yeah, there's I haven't really been able to dive into it too much yet, but Ray, together with someone else, I think, has been putting together and leading something called Conscious Citizens, and really about connecting people to do things together. And there's a Discord server which I'm on. I also have a Discord server for our community for drawing together, and I think it's really cool that the opportunity to create and to strengthen community online. There's often a lot of criticism, justly so, of a lot of these online spaces and tools, but there is so much great stuff, and the ability to connect and see ourselves in each other's and understand each other, and work towards a radiant future for all beings. I think that's using Discord and social media to work towards that is a pretty great thing. So thank you to Ray, to everyone involved. Thank you to everyone here for coming together, drawing together. How's everyone doing? Yeah, last night's Zoom session was so much fun. Any of you who have ever thought of, or maybe it's the first time you're hearing about it, coming to the Zoom sessions on Tuesday at 7:30 Central European Time, even if you're just there for a little bit, if you come late, leave early, like I get so much out of it. It's so much fun. We spent 2 hours sketching together, but last night I remember looking at the clock and like, how can that be 2 hours? It just goes by so fast, and it's such great practice. And it's really, really wonderful to be able to spend that time together, chatting, sharing stories. And all right, that was the first 5 minutes. On we go with the second 5 minutes. And from yesterday's sketch, Eli with the dogs in the car, I shared my sketch, and Eli said she loved it and she was really happy to see it, and was really keen to see everyone else's. So if you did a sketch from yesterday's reference of Eli and the dogs, you can share and tag Street Paws, and I'm sure Eli would love to see it. That was really that was another. These are also great. Just spending this time getting to know people who are doing these wonderful things. We come together and sketch for 10 minutes, but I'm often spending quite a bit of time becoming acquainted with these people and what they're doing, or refreshing. I've been following Ray for a couple of years, but just going back and looking through, trying to grab a screenshot, which I thought would be good to draw from, which is also sometimes a challenge. And I really like about this one, he's clearly talking, he is a communicator and educator, storyteller, so I like that. But as you're just grabbing screenshots from people talking, they're not always very drawable. They could be really interesting, but not. It's interesting just going through this process and being like, okay, when people are presenting themselves and sharing, like, this would be cool to draw, or look at me looking good, or being happy with dogs, or whatever it is, it's very different to when people are engaged in conversation. But there's something of that energy of the talking, the the clarity and importance of what's being said that I feel like is kind of coming through in that. So it was a fun little challenge to grab a screenshot that I thought would be fun to draw from. And I guess like anything we choose to spend our time with and invest our energy in, finding, if you can find a way for it to be, to really invite you into it and lead you on, working from great reference really helps. And I think even if it's challenging, sometimes like there's always things to be gained. I think it can be really challenging to be like, oh, how can I even draw this? Or what is there here? Not in this case. I think this reference is really great, but sometimes it's challenging to figure out and articulate exactly what is it that could be taken from something and communicated with it. But when we're able to have something which is really engaging and has some kind of energy and story to it, that is a great gift to be able to sketch from, because it's already like loaded with so much kind of energy and intent. So fun side effect of that was just listening to a bunch of Ray's videos, which a lot of them are very heavy topics, but I feel and appreciate with Ray's work that there's really this sense of like we are aware of this, and we can work towards positive change, and we can connect in our awareness. And and like on the reference here, we can't see it, but little wins. I thought that was really nice. I have to look into it some more. I'm not sure if it's perhaps a graphic design in conjunction with the collective citizens about the conscious citizens. But little wins are really important because they all add up, and very similar to this daily sketching practice. Just 10 minutes a day is really worth it. And each little win, each interaction, conversation, connection is a little win. All right, that was already 10 minutes. I definitely want to spend more time on this, but I feel like this is a good 10 minutes. There's a bit more contrast, a bit more range I see that could come through in this, but this has been a wonderful opportunity to draw together with you. Michelle would love to come on Tuesdays, but the time doesn't suit so well. You had a blast the one time you did come. It was great having you there as well. Anne-Marie, definitely. There's a lot that's worthy of listening to in what Ray has to say. Because that's a big thing. And like what I was saying about offering, like, hey, you can do this, you can do this. This great initiative is happening. People are doing this. It's one thing to be presented with the news and the heaviness of it, but it's super important in the next breath, or towards, once the problem is presented, to then have ways to work with it. And we can't always find the ways, and sometimes it's difficult to articulate or think even like, oh, what can I even do? But that's really great that there is this sense of momentum and things happening, and a lot of people doing a lot of great things. So thank you to you for being here. If you've made it to the end of this, put your drawing hand emoji in the chat, and I'll sketch with you again tomorrow morning. I can't wait. 10 minutes at 10. In German time, it's 10 anyway. Thank you for being here. I gotta go. I've got an exciting call in 15 minutes, which I'm looking forward to, and I hope you all have things to look forward to today and ways to to connect with each other and your neighbours and the birds and everyone. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I'd love to see your work. Tag me on Instagram with your posts and also in the Discord server.